Almost all of us wonder, how will we spend the money when one day we get our hands on a huge fortune out of nowhere? Am I wrong here? Am I? Well, today, we'll be discussing a case very similar to our imaginations and how a huge sum of money doesn't always guarantee a better life. The life of Andrew Jackson Whittaker Jr. Andrew Whittaker was like any other businessman who made his living in the field of construction. He had no idea at the time that fate had something completely different planned for him. It's not up for debate, as it's very clear that every human being desires wealth. Some are less than others, but they do crave it nonetheless. Andrew was no different. He worked very hard to make a better life and a better legacy for himself and his family. The man was very sincere about his work and had a decent life with no serious issues. Even before his life completely turned around, Mr. Whittaker had a net worth of $17 million, quite a big number and satisfactory for most. The Powerball. Since Andrew was already a millionaire, when an opportunity presented itself in front of him, a chance of winning a lot more money, he took it in a heartbeat. On Christmas Eve of 2002, a purchase was made by Andrew when he stopped to get his car refueled and to buy a deli breakfast sandwich. This purchase was a quick pick ticket or a lottery. According to him, the ticket was quite appealing, and in a very short time, Andrew decided that it wouldn't harm him to pay an easy game of luck, which would cost him a mere sum of $100. Since the prize amount was so big, Andrew didn't want to leave it entirely on his luck, and hence bought a lot of tickets to increase his chances of winning. Little did he know that this trick of his would actually reward him with a hefty sum of $314 million. The amount. Let's get one thing clear though, he wasn't actually paid $314 million since the prize amount had two options. Either the winner could take an annuity worth $314 million or straight up take cash worth $170.5 million. For Whittaker, the choice was very easy. He went with the cash in hand option. After a lot of tax cuts and commissions paid, the actual amount turned out to be over $113 million. Still, it's a lot more than most could ever dream of. However, Andrew admitted later on that he was quite disappointed with the prize not being what it was advertised for. A humanitarian? Whittaker's philanthropy rampage can be used to make a movie. After he won the lottery, Andrew straight up pledged a whopping 10% of his winnings to several Christian charities. The man then proceeded to set up a $14 million nonprofit foundation that will provide free food and clothes to the less fortunate. As if this wasn't enough, he then proceeded to buy a house worth $123,000 for the woman who sold him the ticket, and he didn't stop at that. He then brought her a brand new Jeep Cherokee, while handing her a check for $44,000. Had enough of his altruism yet? Well, hold on, because Whittaker still wasn't satisfied with all of his charities, so he went and bought a Lamborghini, which he could later drive in his neighborhood while throwing cash out of the windows. A series of unfortunate events. Even a year had not passed when Andrew Whittaker started facing multiple issues directly linked to his newfound wealth. In August 2003, thieves looted his car and were able to get away with $500,000 in cash. They were only able to do so because Mr. Whittaker used to keep those $500,000 in his suitcase at all times, and when asked why he used to do this, he simply said it was because he could. Some explanation that was, well, this was just the beginning of a long and painful era for him and his family. In September 2004, his granddaughter's boyfriend, Jesse Tribble, died of an overdose. A few months later, in December of the same year, his granddaughter, Brandy Bragg, was found dead, wrapped in a thick plastic sheet. Several drugs were found in her body, and the cause of her death was still being investigated.